Good evening, America. This is Elena Bartash, your real estate investor. My podcast is usually uh, for people who is in real estate. And most of my podcasts are about private money in real estate investment. And really, my biggest goal to bring the best guests, the best speakers who can bring the best value for you guys, to teach you, to motivate you, to inspire you. Today, I'm extremely lucky because my guest is very experienced investor, podcaster, writer, uh, radio guest, very public person, mentor, Larry Steinhouse. Hi, Larry.
What's up, Elena? What's
Hi.
going on? Anything exciting going on in your world?
Oh, wow.
What's
Real
going on
estate, real
exciting in
estate,
your
real
world?
estate. Real
Oh
estate,
my goodness. I don't know if it's
Everything.
me or you, but we're having a really tough time. Yeah, I'm having a tough time connecting to you. I don't know if it's my internet or your internet,
Mm. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
but
okay.
something
It's
is
okay.
not
I
going
guess
well.
we.
Well, we'll do the best we can. So I don't know if that's me or you.
uh, what we can do, we maybe this is the weather, and we just need to be a little bit patient.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll be patient. Go for it.
Okay. How are you, Larry? How is your day?
I am good. I had a great day. It's funny because I don't know if I told you this, but I do a radio show. So every Saturday I'm on the air from 1 to 3 on WPHT in Philadelphia. And I had to go to WPHT headquarters today and make new commercials
Mm,
because, my commercials got old and I want to make new ones. So I made 11 new commercials. They were great commercials. I had a lot of fun.
great, great. Yeah, I know you are a public person. You always in public. Mass media loves you. So share with us a little bit. Who is Larry Steinhaus?
I'm just some guy that, hangs out and does stuff. No, I'm just screwing with you. So it's kind of interesting because I do a lot of different things, right? So I am a real estate investor. Probably my biggest thing that I do is I invest in real estate. I also invest in the stock market. And I teach people how to invest in real estate, how to invest in the stock market. So I'm teaching people. I wrote several books. One of my books is called Money Hacks. Actually, I'm going to show you a picture of it. If it'll work, I don't know if it'll work. Here we go. There you go. So there's my book, Money Hacks.
Mm,
It's actually a really great book. It teaches you all kinds of things about making money, making more money. And it's funny, you can't see the bottom of it, but it said the subtitle is called "Because Everything You Think You Know About Money Is Wrong." And most people don't know anything
mhm.
about money, and they don't know how to invest their money. They think they know how to invest their money, but they don't. And once you read the book, you'll understand there's so many different ways to invest your money that you never even heard of before. So I do
Okay.
that. I do the radio show. I help people invest in real estate. It's my favorite thing to do. Real estate is great. And then, I have people that I teach. I have hundreds and hundreds of people that have gone through my classes and learned how to invest in real estate. And it's fun when they succeed. One of my favorite things is watching my students succeed.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. This is a great feeling when you help someone and
Absolutely.
your student get the result. This is beautiful feeling. Yes. Tell us, please, a little bit more about your mentorship.
Oh, I don't want to get into my mentorship. I'd rather get into like how cool it is to buy real estate. You know what I do? I buy real estate with absolutely no money and I get money back. So there are times where I go and I'll actually buy a piece of property, rent it that's rentable that I'll lease out to somebody. But at closing, I'll get
Mhm.
back maybe $10,000 or $15,000. Matter of fact, I'm in Florida. I'm buying a property next week. I'm going to close on that property. I'm going to get $15,000 back at closing. I'm going to make about $200 a month positive cash flow, and it cost me absolutely nothing out of my pocket. And that's what I teach. So if you want to talk about my mentorship, that's what I teach. If you go to investorschooling.com, you'll actually learn how to do that. That's one of the things that I teach, and I have so much fun with it.
I can imagine because you help people, which you change their lives.
Absolutely true.
Yes. How many years, Larry, are you in real estate?
So I actually bought my first property when I was 18, and that means I've been investing for 43 years.
Mm,
So
mm.
43 years is a
This is a
long time,
time.
but yeah, but interestingly enough, it wasn't until 2008 that I really learned how to invest in real estate. Like I was always a real estate investor, but in 2008, when I went bankrupt and lost everything, and you can read about that in my book, when I went bankrupt and lost everything, I needed to learn how to buy properties with absolutely no money and no, because I had no money, I had no credit. So buying properties literally a year after my bankruptcy, and it was great. Once I learned how to do it, nothing could stop me.
Mm, okay. That is why people call you the crazy investor?
Crazy real estate investor. Yeah, actually, there's several names. They call me the crazy real estate investor. They call me the crazy stock options trader. They call me, sometimes not so nice things, depending on who they are. But most of the time, they're nice.
Yeah, yeah. Do you remember for the first time when you started working with private money lenders to scale
Wow.
your real estate business?
Yeah,
Do you
I'll tell you an
remember?
interesting story. Yeah, it was 2009. So it was right after my bankruptcy. It was 2009, and the funny part was I had a property under contract, and the property I had under contract, I had it under contract for $50,000. And
Mhm.
this property, when I renovate it, would the ARV would probably be 120 at the time. Now it's worth like 300, but probably like 120 at the time. I needed $30,000 to renovate it. So it was interesting because I went to just a RIA meeting, just a regular RIA meeting, and people were just talking about their deals. So I got up, I started talking about my deal, and somebody came up to me and they said, "Hey, how can I get involved in that deal?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And they said, "Well, what if I lend you money on that deal?" And I'm like, "That's great." So they said, "How much do you need?" I said, "Well, I'm thinking to myself, I need 50,000 to buy it, plus some closing costs, and $30,000 to renovate it." So I said, "Why don't I borrow?" I said, "I'll take 100,000." So I borrowed more money than I needed. So at closing, I made money, renovated the property, and still made a ton of money. Matter of fact, in that property, I was bringing in $1,900 a month income, which was a
Mhm.
really nice cash flow, really nice cash flow. And now I'm even getting more than that. So it's great how the cash flow just keeps going up. And if you learn how to buy properties with no money, it's instant money. So I actually like instantly put money in my pocket, got cash flow. And the nice thing about it was once I learned how to do it, I just kept doing it. So now I actually ask people for money. I'm like, hey, I got this property, it's under contract. How much can you give me? I'm closing next week on a property, I think I told you, in Florida. And I asked them for
Mhm.
250,000. I'm buying the property for 225. I asked the lender for 250,000. He's going to give me the 250,000. I probably need 10 or 15,000 for closing costs. I leave closing with money in my pocket, and I'll make a couple $100 a month leasing that property out.
Okay. Usually, how do you buy your properties out of with zero money out of your pocket? Do you involve lenders or you involve equity partners?
Now, only lenders. So there's no
Mhm.
such thing as an equity partner. An equity partner is someone that you're actually wasting time on. So if you're going to give somebody equity, the only reason I'll give somebody equity is if they're going to be if they're going to be an actual partner, right? So a partner to me
Mhm.
is someone who helps me rent it. A partner to me is someone who struggles when there are bad times, gets excited when there are good times. Someone who, like, like if something breaks, we both know that, hey, we have no money. Let's put in 50-50 and fix it. That's what a partner is
Mhm.
to me. In fact, I bought a mobile home park, and that's exactly what happened. I needed a partner, so I needed money to buy it.
Mhm.
I needed an extra 300,000. I had everything but the 300,000. And I went to somebody and said, "Hey, I need 300,000." They said, "I don't want to lend you 300,000. I want to be a partner." I said, "That's great, but this is what a partner is to me." And I explained what a partner is to me, and a partner is someone who puts some sweat into the deal. And he's been a great partner because honestly, he puts more work into it than I do. And that to me, that's a great partner, obviously.
Hmm. Yeah, this is sounds like a perfect partnership, but it's
Absolutely.
not all the time like this. Yeah.
Right. So
No.
he's got money in the deal, but he's also a partner. And look, I treat his money like it was somebody else, like it was another lender who lent the money. but I treat him as a partner.
Mhm. Yep, yep. Who taught you, Larry, how to structure deals with private lenders? Did you get
Well,
it
I
from experience
pretty much,
or
yeah, I pretty
someone?
much did it myself. I got a hold of a
Hmm.
promissory note. I got a hold of a mortgage, and I said, "This looks good. Let me do it." And sure enough, I had to. I fill out the paperwork for a mortgage and a promissory note, and no problem. People lend me money. Matter of fact, I teach people how to lend me money because when I'm done with them, they're begging to lend me money.
Hmm. Okay. Do you remember yourself when you were a newbie in private money world? What kind of maybe mindset issues we all have to step over to be able to be capable to build better relationship with private lenders?
So private lenders are everywhere. And people don't understand what a private lender is. They think it's a hard money lender, or they think it's some guy who advertises on Facebook. Hi, I'm a private lender. That's not a private lender. A private lender is somebody who might have money in their IRA, who might have money in the bank, and they're not getting a great return on it. And then you talk to
Hmm.
them and you explain to them how you can get a better return. If I borrow money from you, you'll get a better return on your money than you would if you put it in an IRA, or if you put it in, in your, I don't know, CD
Hmm.
or a new annuity. Especially annuities, the worst thing you could ever invest in. So I could prove to people that you're going to make more money with me than you're going to make with your registered rep who is just stealing from you anyway. Once I do that, it's very easy to get the money. So the first thing you need to do is say, "Hey, do you have an IRA?" They say, "Yes." Great. What was your return last year in your IRA? Well, I probably got about 6 or 7%. Great. Do you realize that you got 6 or 7%, but then you paid fees on that? So maybe you got 2 or 3%. What if I can give you a guaranteed 8% on your money backed by
Hmm.
real estate? And they go, "What do you mean?" And then you explain to them, "Well, listen, you're gonna lend me money on your real estate. I'm sorry, you're gonna lend me money on my real estate, and that's gonna be the security for the real estate for the money. And if I don't pay you, you get the real estate." And this way, people feel much more comfortable with it.
Hmm. So, particularly to find private lenders, you just speak with
Yeah,
people
speak with
around.
everybody you know. Everybody you know. Everybody you know
Okay.
is a private lender. They just don't know it yet.
Mhm. Yeah,
And once you
yeah,
explain
this
it
is
to them
great.
how it works, they beg to lend you money. I have about 2 million. I have people with about $2 million total begging to lend me money. I just don't have a property right now. All I have to do is find one.
Yeah, and this is a issue to find good deal.
It's not an issue. I've been lazy. If I wasn't so lazy, I'd find a bunch of properties. And it's true because real estate investors. There's always properties out there. How many times do you say, "Hey, your friend just got like one of your friends just got a property under contract," right? How often is that? Probably once a month. That one of your friends got a property under contract. You know why you didn't get that property under contract? Because you didn't reach out to the seller to get that property under contract. And the only reason you didn't know about that is because you weren't mailing, you weren't calling, you weren't doing whatever it was that will help you get properties. And honestly, I've been a little bit lazy lately, so I haven't been finding as many properties as I want to. And because of that, I have all this money and I have no properties. So now I have to get properties to sell to use this money.
Yep. Yeah, I understand. Oh, actually, you just touched really interesting topic. So for investors, we all need money and deals. Usually, I discuss money on my podcast, but the topic about deals is great as well, and it's absolutely related to private money because we need to bring good deal to lender, right? To involve them in our deal. What you are checking
Yeah. So
first in
yeah.
potential deal to consider this as a potentially good deal to be presented in front of your lenders.
Well, I don't even need to present it in front of my lenders. My lenders trust me because I show them that I am trustworthy. If I'm buying a property that costs $300,000 and I'm asking for $500,000, well, then I'm a scam artist. I got to be. If I'm borrowing $300,000 or less, that's fine. So if
Mhm.
the property doesn't make any sense to me, then why would I go to a lender and say, "Hey, lend me money on a deal that doesn't make sense"? So if you don't know how to
Yep.
do a good deal, That's the first thing you have to learn. You have to learn what a good deal is. We all have heard before. We've heard the 1% rule. So if the property, for example, if you're buying it for $100,000 and the monthly rent is at least $1,000 a month, then you know
Mhm.
that it might be a good deal. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be, but at least it's worth looking at, right? I mean, if you got a property that's getting $2,000 a month rent and you're paying $100,000 for it, that's an incredible deal, and anybody would lend you money on that deal.
Yep. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree with you. Let's come back a little bit to topic of private lenders. Okay, you just
Sure.
mentioned private money lenders are everywhere. I agree with you. But anyway, each of us, we have our secrets or our tricks or our sources where we are looking for private lenders. Do you have any strategy? Maybe you
Yeah.
implemented in
Make friends.
before.
Make friends.
But
If all your friends are broke, you need new friends,
okay,
right? If all
where
your
you
friends
find
have,
them?
$10,000, not even $10,000, like they have zero net worth or negative net worth, then you need
Mhm.
new friends. You're hanging out with the wrong people. People say that if you hang around with 5 people that are millionaires, you'll become a millionaire. If you hang around with 5 drug addicts, you'll become a drug addict. Hang around with
Mm.
5 people who eat too much, you'll eat too much. You hang around with 5 people who are working out, you'll work out. So that's what you need to do. You need to find new friends. It doesn't mean you have to say to your old friends, "Hey, I want nothing to do with you." You need to say, "Hey, you just don't meet my interest anymore. But hey, we're good
Mhm.
friends. If you have any questions, that's fine. But hang around with people who are doing it. I go on masterminds of people who are buying multi huge multifamily houses right now, like 350 units, 400 units, and I'm on mastermind meetings with them. Why? Because that's my next move. My next move is to buy something that big, either a hotel or huge properties like 350 units, 400 units. So if I start hanging around with those people, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to start owning those properties.
Mhm. Oh, great. Okay, so your strategy is to make friends and to hang out with people who does what you want to do.
Yeah, hang out with people who have money. If you want to have money, you got to hang out with people who have money. You don't want to have money. It's very easy. It's very easy to find friends with no money. They're always looking for something to do. They're probably watching TV or playing video games. If you want to,
Yep.
if you're hanging around with people with money, they don't have time to watch TV.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And what was your first, maybe second source of private lenders in your beginning, in the beginning of
Well,
your
as my
journey?
source of private, I just talking to people, and again, it's the same thing. I just talk to people. I find out what they have, what kind of money they have, and I say, listen, if you're getting 3% with your broker, why don't you come to me? I'll give you 8%, and I'll give you a guaranteed 8%. When the market goes down or
Mhm.
market goes up, you're getting 8%. You're getting a really nice return.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you teach your students? Because I suppose your students sometimes people who have some experience in real estate, some people
Mhm.
who has zero experience in real estate, right? And really, conception of private money, it's a very tricky conception for newbies. How do you explain them? How do you teach them to start?
So the very first thing you have to understand is if you don't have a deal, you don't need any money. The biggest mistake that newbie real estate investors make is that they say to their friends, "Hey, you have $200,000 in the bank. Would you lend me money if I kind of sort of find a deal? Would you kind of sort of lend me money if that kind of sort of happens?" Don't do that. Don't do that.
Mm,
First of all, your friend, if he's a nice guy, will say yes because he'll just say, "Yeah, fine, whatever," because he knows that you're never going to find a deal, right? But if I come to you and I say,
mm,
"Listen, I got a deal. I got a property. It's worth $400,000. I could buy it for $250,000. I need to borrow $250,000 right now. I'll give you 8% interest. These are the numbers, and if you work the numbers and you show them the numbers, it really works well. I'll give you 8% right now, and I'll borrow that money for, let's say, 5 years, whatever. I'll buy this property, and if anything happens, you get the property if I don't pay." Now that's a good deal. Now the guy's going to say, "Well, hey, 8% backed by real estate. It's worth more than I'm lending. Maybe it's a good deal. Maybe I'll have to do this."
Mm. So I got your point, but it's a little bit contradictional with what I was taught. So
What you were
my
taught
mentors
wrong.
always taught me relationship first, lenders first, and deals second.
Yeah. Well,
Because
the problem is you don't need any money if you don't have a deal. So what's the point?
but how you will get money if you don't have relationship with people who has money? So you
You have a
first need
relationship with
to.
people, you have money, you just don't know it yet. See, if you sit in your house and watch TV all day long, you have no relationship with anybody. If you go to RIA events, if you make yourself known, I mean, if you go to a RIA event, sit in the corner, not talk to anybody, you're not going to make any relationships, right? If you start
Yeah.
talking to people, just talk to people. It's not like, hey, will you lend me $200,000 if I find a property? Get out of here. Go away. Like I said, they might be nice and say yes, waiting for you to come up with them because they know you're never going to come up to them with a property. But if you have a property under contract and you've been hanging
Mhm.
out in RIA groups, and then you go up to somebody, hey, listen, I need $200,000 for this deal. Here's the terms that I'll give you. That's very different. Instead of, I might kind of sort of need money one day when I kind of sort of need that money, will you kind of sort of lend it to me? Remember that if you don't have a property under contract, you have all the money you need for that deal. If you have a property under contract and you need $250,000, you will find the $250,000. All you have to do is let a number of people know about the deal, and they will come to you. I often have lenders that fight each other to lend me money.
Love it. I just love it. This is
Well,
new
that's how
for
you have to do it.
everyone.
All you have to do is find a good deal, and the lenders will come to you. But if you don't let people know about it, they won't. And it's funny because a bad deal will reveal itself while you're looking for money. And it's funny, a lot of real estate investors don't understand that if a property is listed on the MLS for $300,000 and all the comps are $300,000, $280,000 is not a good deal. It's just not.
Mm.
They're like, oh, I can get a good deal. I can get this property for $280,000. It's worth $300,000. That's not a good deal. A good deal is $225,000, $200,000, or even less. That's a good deal. That's easy to find money for. But
Mm.
a property $20,000 under market value, who cares?
So what is your formula or what is your standards? What kind of discount do you want to get? If it's
It's
if
not
it's
about a discount.
MLS
It's about what the
property.
property. If the property is worth, I mean, it's a feeling, because, like I said, if the
Mhm.
what's $20,000? That's nothing. That's not what it's worth. If I can get a property at 50% off, or even 70% of ARV, not even ARV, 50% of I'm sorry, 70% of what it's worth, sure, that's a
Mhm.
great that's a great deal. But to buy a property that's slightly discounted, forget about it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. How serious you work with ARV?
So you gotta remember, I'm a buy and hold investor, and I tell people buy and hold. Now, I did have a wholesale company. I did $1.1 million with the wholesale fees in 2 years, so I do know how to wholesale. But wholesale is a job. I'd rather buy and hold properties, build wealth, get income, and not worry about it anymore. So ARV means nothing to me. I don't care if I buy a property for $200,000 and when I'm done with it, it's worth 10. You know why? Because if I
Why?
buy the property for $200,000 and it's giving me $3,000 a month rent, I don't care what the property's worth. In fact, I often make the joke that all my properties together are worth zero because I'm never going to sell them anyway. It's nice to know my net worth is a really high number in the millions, but it's not that important to me. What's important to me is the check I get every month.
Mhm. Mm. Experience. It is something great.
Yeah, it's called experience and wisdom. 43 years later, you realize that ARV means nothing. Property value means nothing. Everything means one thing. What kind of cash flow are you going to get? You've heard the expression cash is king? It's not
Mhm.
true. Cash flow is
Mm.
king, right? If I could teach you a way to put $50,000 into an account and it gives you $3,000 a month, how many of those do you want to do?
Mhm.
$50,000. and it gives you $3,000 a month. How many of those you want to do? Would you want to give me
50,000
and 3,000 a month?
okay. Oh, it's great cash flow.
Of course, it's a great cash flow. That's why I want to make sure you
It's
heard it because I didn't
wonderful.
think you did. It's incredible
Yeah,
cash
it's
flow, right?
wonderful.
So these
Yeah.
are some of the things I teach. I mean, it's not necessarily real estate; it's with stock options. But understand that if you're doing things like that, who cares how much money you have? What's more important is how you use the money to get huge returns. And those are some of the things I teach. You can do that with real estate. You can do it with stock options. You can do it with the stock market. You can do it with precious metals. You have to understand how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, it becomes great. I mean, look, people don't get it. I mean, most people, they go into their retirement and they have $160,000 to their name. That's the average. What are you going to do with $160,000? So if you're 65 years old and you have $160,000 in the bank and you're retiring, what do you do with $160,000? Live on $10,000 for 16 years? It's just not going to happen. So I tell people you're better off going to a casino, putting $160,000 on 13 black, and if it comes up, you're a multimillionaire. If it doesn't come up, you're still better off because now you can get government programs that'll give you more than $10,000 a year for 16 years.
Cool. So you teach people not just to invest in real estate. You teach people investment basics, investment
Right. I teach people
foundation.
how to better their life financially, which is really what I'm teaching. There's people make so many mistakes, finances, and they learn from their broke friends, right? I mean, it amazes me that they take advice from my broke friend told me. They don't say their broke friend. They say my friend told me I should invest in whatever, Bitcoin, whatever, right? Well, how is your friend a millionaire? Oh no, he barely could afford life. Then why are you listening to him? Right? Why don't you go take the advice of millionaires instead of taking advice from your broke friends? I have a theory, right? When somebody gives me financial advice, as soon as they start talking, yak, 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 if you invest in this, you'll make a whole lot of money. I say, are you a millionaire? And when they say no, I look at them and go, thank you for telling me exactly what not to do.
Yeah. I know this proverb. If you want to achieve something, you should get advice from people who already done it, right? This is what you're talking about.
Exactly. I've either already done it, which is most of the time, or have done it successfully, which is the real clue. Because there are people who
Yeah.
do it and they do it poorly. I mean, YouTube is filled with them. YouTube is filled with, hey, I've been investing for a whole 6 weeks and I made some money. Let me show you what I did. I mean, really? And those are people that people take advice from. And it's amazing to me. Like, what is wrong with you? Well, I learned how to trade stock options on YouTube. And, I swear, you know what I say to them next? I say, how much money did you lose? Not how much money did you make money or lose money. My next question is, how much money did you lose? They go, well, I only lost a little bit. Oh, okay. Why don't you come to me and I'll teach you how to do it and make money every time? Not every time, but most of the time. Same with real estate, right? I mean, it amazes me. I've never seen anything like this. I wanna learn wholesaling so I could save up enough money to buy properties and hold them and make cash flow. What? Why don't you just go right into buy and hold? Forget wholesaling. Well, I don't have the money to buy properties. I can teach you how to buy properties with absolutely no money. Why don't you buy them and start learning how to cash flow? No, I'd rather do it the wrong way. I'm sorry, I'd rather do it the way so-and-so taught me because he's been doing it for at least 6 months and he's smarter than you. I know you've been doing it for 43 years, but these guys doing it for 6 months, they got to be smarter than you.
Yeah, there are some speakers on YouTube who just want to sell themselves. Yes, of course, it happens. But I'm not fully agree with you because even people who has not as massive experience as you do, for example,
Right.
all of us, we all gifted with something, and we
Well, that's
not
why people need to
necessarily
come to me to get experience. So I've made the idiot mistakes over and over again, right? So now they need to come to me so I can say, don't make this mistake. Do it this way. What I teach is I teach 43 years of experience. Excuse me, 43 years of experience. And with those 43 years of experience, I will definitely be able to help.
Yeah, I understand. So who was your I would not say mentor, but I would say authority for you. Whose
So
opinion was important for you? What maybe some experts, maybe relatives, maybe some professional, maybe whoever when you just started in real estate.
so when I first started real estate, I just did it. I just decided to buy properties. And I started buying properties. I was using banks, and I made some mistakes. And then come 2006, I decided to get greedy, buying properties that made absolutely no sense. In 2008, I had to give them
Mm.
all back to the bank. And then in 2009, I said, you know what? I'm going to keep making money. I learned how to buy properties without any money, but just doing it. Basically, it just happened. I started to say, hey, listen, I put a property under contract. I would find somebody who would lend me money. I did some subject to deals, and I learned how to do it. And it was a lot easier than I thought. In fact, it was great because especially then, 2008 to 2012 was fantastic. I didn't even know how fantastic it was going to be because I started buying stuff then that was so cheap and so easy to buy. And the next
Mhm.
thing those properties are worth millions and millions.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't have your experience, but even me, I see the uh, real estate market in US very flexible, and it changes probably every single year.
Yeah,
Something
but
new,
that doesn't matter.
something, something getting die, some new ideas, some new tendencies are coming up. So, what do you think about current market in US? What would you predict for several next years? How do you see it?
I don't care. See, this is what separates the professionals from the amateurs. The amateurs like the housing market's going to go up, the housing market's going to go down. Who cares? I buy a property and it cash flows. I don't care what happens to the property value. I said it before, right? So if I buy a property worth $300,000 and I'm getting $3,500 a month rent, and the property goes down to $200,000 and I'm still getting $3,500 a month rent, who cares?
Uh, yeah, I understand your point, but I'm asking a little bit different stuff. For example, what I see right now, I see people move their properties from long-term rental to co-living. A
To
lot.
what?
It happens a lot. To
Wait.
co-living. People rent out rooms
So you're talking about short-term rentals or renting out rooms? Oh, colony is
and
what you're
not
talking
short-term rent, not
about. Right.
short-term rentals.
You're talking about
Co-living, maybe part split.
yeah. So I'm not into that. Now there are people who like that. It's just not my thing. I don't want to rent by the room because rent by the room is a management nightmare. It's just not my thing. I'd rather rent to people on an annual basis because now I know
Mhm.
that I got a check coming in. That check covers my bills. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about parents and people trashing the place because they're renting by the room. I just want somebody, nice family, who moves in, rents the place from me, sends me a check every month, and everything's fine.
Yep. You see, just everyone has own strategy.
Yeah,
Larry,
it's just fine. Yeah.
how do you pick market? I know you live in Pennsylvania. Do you invest only in Pennsylvania or you invest in some other markets?
So I have properties in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and Florida.
Any other markets you would like to start investing in?
Probably not, because one of the things that you're going to learn as you start investing is you want to keep clusters of properties. So, like if I have,
Hmm.
whatever, like there's a part of Pennsylvania that I invested in Lehigh Valley. I probably have, I don't know, a dozen or so properties in that area, and that's so that when I go visit one, I can visit the others, right? So in Florida, I'm buying more properties in this one area because if I go visit one, I can visit all of them.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Larry, thank you so much. And
You're
people who
welcome.
watch us right now, if you have any questions you want to ask Larry, don't forget he is not just experienced real estate investor, he is writer, he is mentor, he has his own mentorship program where he teaches people how to manage their money, not only real estate. So if you have any questions, please don't feel hesitate and ask your questions in the chat. And anyway, I will put Larry's Facebook link under this video because Right
Sure.
now we have live podcast, and in the future, this video will stay on my channel. And if someone wants to reach out to Larry, if you have questions, please find his Facebook link under this video. Uh,
Very
we
good.
have probably several minutes left, and Larry, thank you so much for all information. It's what was very interesting and lots of golden nuggets. And something as a conclusion for your podcast, what would you suggest people who wants to really scale fast, what they should pay attention on to be real estate investors and investors in general?
So if you want to scale fast, you got to let people know that you're buying properties. It's the biggest mistake people make. It's funny. I'll mentor people, or somebody will come to me and say, "Hey, I don't understand why I can't find any properties." And I'll go to their Facebook page, and I'll say, "Well, why are you holding a cat on your banner of your Facebook page? Are you buying cats or are you buying houses?" And they laugh. They go, "I'm buying houses." So why doesn't it say I buy houses with you in a house instead of you and your cat? You know, People just don't get it. Let people know every day that you're buying properties. And if you let people know you're buying properties every day, people are going to come to you and they're going to help you buy properties, or people are going to come to you and say, "Hey, will you buy my property?" I mean, that's how pretty much I buy my
Mhm.
properties now. People come to me and say, "Hey, listen, I know somebody who has a property for sale. Will you, why don't you call them?" Or they may say, "Hey, I have a property for sale." That's how it works for me. Just letting people know that I buy properties. If you want to get scale real fast, send out 10,000 pieces of mail every month, and you'll scale really fast.
Great advice. Great. Thank you so much. And probably last question. Um, Anything about mindset? Any suggestions? Do you
Yeah,
believe we need to grow some part of our mindset to again to scale faster?
yeah. If you don't believe you can do it, you're not going to do it. So the first thing you have to sit down and say, "Okay, I deserve it." And when you say I deserve it, you'll get whatever you want. The one thing about you've heard the law of attraction, and it's so real. If you want
Mhm.
something, you'll get it. If you don't want something, you won't. If you kind of think you might sort of want it, it ain't going to happen. When you put your mind to something and say, "I'm going to do this," it will happen. Now, it's not going to, it doesn't always be easy, but it's going to happen. You're going to have hurdles, you're going to have problems. And then eventually it's just going to click one day and you go, "There it is. I knew I could do it. And there it is. I did it." But you have to put your mindset to it. And you have to say, "I'm going to do it." And you have to not stop until it happens. Right? Would you spend every last dollar you had to have the goal and dream that you decided that you wanted? If the answer is you wouldn't, then don't even try.
Mhm.
Because there are people who lived in their cars because they had a dream, and their financial dream was they wanted to be multimillionaire, they wanted to own properties, whatever it was, I don't care. And once they did that, and then once they said, "I'm going to spend every single dime I have, every single moment I have on my dream," and all of a sudden it happens. It happens.
Thank you, Larry. Yeah, I agree with you. I love this advice because it's absolutely true. Everything, all great stuff started to became from here. It was born in someone's brain,
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
someone's imagination, in
Absolutely
someone's
true.
faith. Thank you, Larry.
You're
Again,
welcome.
it was honor for me to have you as my guest today. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much. Bye bye, Larry.
Bye bye. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, people, for being today with us. Larry is a great guest. I was really happy when he was agreed to be my podcast guest, and I was waiting for this podcast couple of months, and now I feel it worth it. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, everyone who've been today with us. Uh, Please subscribe my channel. Please like this video and let Larry know in the comments if you got something useful for yourself, some value. I believe you did. And please let me know. I am real estate investor. If you guys private lenders, if you want to get to know me and my business deeper and build relationship for future business, please let me know. And again, thank you so much for being today with us. Have a good night.